Hello friends, and welcome to a very special and spooky edition of Taylor Turns a Page. You know what season it is. It is spooky season, and it is currently October 1st, the day I'm shooting this, which you know what that means in the book community. I've got my October TBR and fall hopefuls list to show you. I have some thrillers, some spooks, and hopefully some cozy reads to show you, because I can be a little bit of a scaredy cat after a while. We have coffee, we have a kitty who will hopefully appear soon. He probably won't because he's totally asleep. And we just have lots of mischief and mayhem to get into. So I really hope that you enjoy the ride in today's video. The first book on my October TBR is going to be such a hit. I can already feel it in my bones. It is Enchanted to Meet You by Meg Cabot. I am a Meg Cabot girly through and through. I grew up reading the Princess Diaries series and getting my hands on every single book of hers, even if they were kind of too old for me, because I just devoured Meg's books. And this is going to be, it is the first in a new series called Witches of West Harbor, and I can't wait to see what those witches are up to, because if Meg has anything to do with it, it is going to be so spooky and so fun and maybe a little bit cozy, who knows. The next book on my October TBR is One of Us is Dead by Geneva Rose. I read The Perfect Marriage by Geneva last month, and it was what I like to call the perfect candy thriller. If there was a plot twist, you guessed it pretty early on. The plot wasn't too overbearing or anything, and the book just went by really fast. And I'm hoping that One of Us is Dead kind of has that same mood. And you can't really see it, but Miss Colleen Hoover says here, Geneva is the queen of twists, so it sounds like we're gonna have a really good romp with this one. My next book I am so excited about, and that is The Only One Left by Riley Sager, and it's actually the second Riley Sager book that I own, but I've never read the other one. I have The House Across the Lake that came out last year, and I've also checked out a ton of his books from the library, but I've just never gotten to them. So if I get to The Only One Left, it will certainly not be the only Riley Sager book I will have left. And I am just so excited to dive into Riley's world, because I know so many of you are into his writing, and I just am looking for a great new mystery thriller author that I can get onto. And I have to tell you, I know nothing about this next book besides how stunning the cover art is. Would you look at that? It is Bright Young Women by Jessica Knoll, and I know, what I do know, is that she wrote Luckiest Girl Alive, which has just become a Netflix series or movie, and I think it has Mila Kunis in it. This definitely looks like it has the potential to become a series or movie later on. I mean, look at how cool this book looks. I cannot wait to find out even the least bit about the plot and figure out what we have going here. I mean, the cover. I mean, would you look at it? Probably the book that I'm most excited about reading this month is The Last Word by Taylor Adams. This book is about a book influencer who writes a 1-star review of a book, and the author of said book will not stand for that and goes to crazy uncomfortable lengths for revenge. Despite the plot, I love the inclusion of modern day social media in books. I know a lot of people may not, but that's what really hooked me about this book in the first place, and I know it's likely such a small part of the plot, but I cannot wait to dig it. Ruth Ware, everybody. Next I have her latest book, 0 Days. She has become one of my favorite authors just based off of the one book of hers that I've read. I read The It Girl last year, and it had such a hold on me that I decided she would be one of my auto-buy authors. This is her latest book, 0 Days, and hopefully soon there will be 0 days left until I read it. I am so excited. She just has captivated me. I would read her freaking grocery list if she gave it to me. I just think she's one of the greatest writers there is in mystery and thriller. I want to hear from my Ruth Ware fans in the comments. What is your favorite Ruth Ware book? I would love to check it out after I check out 0 Days. Or if you think that I should check out one of her books before I get into this one, please let me know. I feel like I'm the very last person to read this, but In My Dreams I Hold a Knife by Ashley Winstead. I read her book The Last Housewife last year, and it was definitely a 5-star read and one of my very favorite reads for the entire year. My best friend, also named Ashley, read this book earlier this year and really, really dug it, and I absolutely trust her book recommendations. I mean, she should be up here giving you book recommendations because she would never stab you in the back with scissors or a knife or any other kind of stabby mechanisms that will be in this book, so I am looking forward to finding out which ones they are. The next book I have to show you is Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo, and I am thrilled to finally own a copy of this book. I have been looking for a copy since January. They are seriously all sold out everywhere, and I can't find it at the library either. And I finally went into Book of the Month archives to snag a copy, and I am so ready for this like dark academia thriller fantasy hybrid going on here, and to finally figure out what Leigh Bardugo is all about, because I have never read one of her books before and I am so ready. Mona Awad wrote one of my all-time favorite books in the world, Bunny, and so I will automatically read all of her books. This is her latest one, Rogue, and I am so excited to dig into it. I mean, look at this mysterious rose on the cover. I know nothing about this book besides the fact that Mona Awad wrote it, and I don't need to know anything because I trust her with my life and my subconscious. I mean, Bunny was one of the weirdest books I've ever read in my life, and I love weird stuff. I mean, I'm just so excited for this book, Rogue by Mona Awad. Alright, I have to tell you something. I am not much of a fantasy girly, but the book community is helping to change that. And because of this, I am relatively unfamiliar with the world of Hogwarts and Harry Potter. So I am going to continue the series. I started it last year and read the first 2 books, and you all already know that number 3, The Prisoner of Azkaban, is next on my list, and I actually began this book in the spring, but temporarily DNF'd it, and last night I was like, Taylor, you need the magic of Hogwarts in your life during the fall, because how could you not? And I went and read some before I went to sleep, and I'm going to read this until I finish it to get further into Harry's world. I have all the other books, and I really want to know what you people have been talking about since we were 8 years old. Last but not least, we have The Shards by Bret Easton Ellis. This is a library book. I know that he is very complicated. I loved Less Than Zero when I was in high school, but life has happened to me since, and I don't think I'll be able to read it or watch the movie again for personal reasons. And I started American Psycho. I haven't seen the movie. I started that book when it started going around the book community a few months ago, and I DNF'd that so fast, but the plot of this book intrigued me. So we're going to see how far I get into it, and I will hopefully have a report for you, because I think this sounds cool. So we'll see what is really going on here. Alright friends, that concludes my October TBR. I hope you found some titles that you're interested in reading, and if you have read any of these books, please let me know in the comments down below so we can start the conversation. I hope you've enjoyed your stay in my little internet corner of the world, and you come back soon so we can turn some pages together. I just dropped this whole pile of books.